Hello everybody, welcome to our 11th video for our Technique Tuesday. This is really exciting. So I'm continuing on a technique that I did last week, and it's using the white pigment ink and a stencil to give it a highlight on your design, right? What you're using with your stencil. Someone had asked about using, instead of using the white, could you use like a darker shade or a lighter shade of the same color to create a similar technique. So what I'm doing here is I'm laying down my white sheet, and then I'm laying the stencil on top and laying that down with painter's tape. And since it's already, the sheet itself is white, I'm going to use this one is the Mermaid Lagoon, and we're just going to go ahead and put that all over the page. And up in the top corner there, I got it darker than I had intended, but it'll still be okay. So I'm just rubbing this all over, and then we're going to pull up the tape and you'll see the pattern, which is right there. Okay, and what I like to do, sometimes I will clean in between, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the colors. But since these are two blues, I just wanted to go ahead and line up and then slightly shift the stencil so that way it'll create that, natural, the highlight after we color in this darker color. So we're just going to fill up the color with the Distress ink. And I like using the Distress ink. You can use dye inks, any inks really that you have in your stash. Okay, so whatever inks that you have, you can do this technique with. Just keep in mind that usually the white ink that you use, if you're using white ink, is usually a pigment ink, and it takes longer for it to dry. So you can get it, all over your hands and have a lot of, transfer. Now you can see here, I love this because it almost makes, it looks like it's moving, like almost psychedelic, but it was really an interesting pattern that created. So for you to see it with the white, I decided to do it on black cardstock. So once again, I took the makeup sponge, dipped it into the white, and I'm just laying that down. And just be careful. What I would suggest, like maybe on the sheet that you're putting it on, make it a bigger square so that way you could always cut it down after you were done. Only because I found with making this like right at the 4 by 5 1/4, my tape wasn't on it, so it kept shifting a little bit. Okay, so since we just put the white over top, I am gonna wipe this down. And what I use to wipe down on my stencils with the inks is just baby white, and I put it over top of like a paper towel, just so that way any ink that's coming off on, from the baby wipe, it gets absorbed into the paper towel. And then once again, I'm going to line it up. And then once I have it lined up, I'm just going to shift over . And that was probably, sometimes I try to figure out, like, am I going to go down, up, which way do I want this direction to go, and also trying not to move the card underneath of it while I get everything set up. So once I line it up and I moved it over, I laid down the piece of tape, and then since it's black, I didn't want to use the really dark blue, so instead of using the blueprint blueprint sketch, which is the dark blue that we're using, I went back to the Mermaid Lagoon because I thought, well, it's a little bit brighter blue. Maybe that will help stand out some on the black cardstock. This would be fun to try with like yellow or a bright orange or even like a red or hot pink. So here we go. Once we lift up the stencil, take a look at that. Isn't that cool? I love how it looks. Like on the blue, it looks like it's almost moving. And then on the dark black cardstock, it looked, you know, just dimensional, you know, like a 3D of that same drawing. So what should we do next? Obviously, we're going to work on this craft color, which is really great because then you get to see it on 3 different colors. You could probably even do it on regular colored, you know, like if you did it on blue, yellow, you know, whatever color cardstock you have. But most of the time, like I don't know about you guys, but I use a lot of the craft, the black and the white, especially when I'm doing a lot of different patterns. I know you can do other colors, but those are probably what I grab for the most, so that's why I wanted to show you on here. And the, you know, putting down the white is the same way that we did on the black, which is with the makeup sponge. And I do that only because I don't have a round sponge for my white inks, so I just bought an inexpensive package of makeup sponges, and it gets it down. So once again, we lift it up. Just gonna wipe it off some, because you can even see on the sponge right there on the right hand side some of the blue, because I hadn't cleaned it off fully, wound up getting on my sponge. So, and you run the risk of having that ink transfer into your white ink as you're dabbing. So it's just important, just be careful, you know, when it comes to cleaning off your stencils, okay? Now, I'm going back to figure out exactly where I had it, you know, laid down, because I was like, I should have more room here to be able to shift. And I decided to shift kind of down and to the right on this one. The other ones, it was more like horizontal, and on this one I wanted to go down a little bit. And then I'm going back with the Mermaid Lagoon on top. And the reason why this works the way it does is because with the pigment ink being still wet, you're putting down another color, and it's basically mixing those 2 colors together. And I think that's why I really like doing it with the Distress inks, because they move so well and they blend so well. So it allows for that color to really blend well. Here's the close-up of the crafts, and I like to put that next to the black, and then we're going to bring up the blue on the white. So thank you guys for watching. As we go forward from here, you are going to see the 3 different backgrounds made into cards. And you can see a close-up of everything. All I did was add a sentiment and either sequins or gems, okay? And I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like it, or if you want to see more or different pattern stencils, just leave a comment down below, and I will definitely look into that for us. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great day.